Hello distanciers, welcome to my channel or welcome back. This is a channel for astrology and for spirituality, and today we're going to continue the moon series that I have not yet finished. We're going to go to moon in Aquarius. So moon is that planet that tells very much about our inner world, who we are on the more secretive side of ourselves when we are on our own, or that side of us that only people from our family tend to kind of know more about, tend to see more about us, or those people that are really close to us because we don't necessarily manifest it so much into the outside world. Is something that we tend to be more internal about, but it's also very much us, sometimes even more. And in some cases, well, in most cases, if you were born in the nighttime, the moon will have a much bigger influence on your chart than actually the sun. And so we have finally arrived to one of the most interesting moons of the zodiac. In my opinion, the very psychological, intriguing moon in Aquarius. I really had so much fun going through this one. A lot of fun. And let me start by saying that I'm of the opinion that every single zodiacal sign has beautiful, amazing treasures and blessings to teach us. And some signs might cause us to feel a little bit of a repulsion because you go like, oh, that person is that sign, I don't want to know about them. Like there's this kind of thing for a lot from Scorpios, for example. And sometimes we tend to look at certain signs as if they are the baddies of the zodiac, or Geminis are two-faced. But there's really no such thing, because every single sign has value and a world perspective to teach us, and you can find good and bad people in every single sign. So, talking about moon in Aquarius, when the moon is in the sign of Aquarius, it will acquire a very detached posture towards feelings and emotions. And this is one of the least emotional oriented moons. Of course, with its qualities as every single sign of the zodiac, but here the moon tends to look more from a perspective where everyone is equal, meaning that they don't tend to become attached to a particular person, but rather to feel affection in a more kind of equal, fraternal way. They tend to want to get along with their friends and relatives, to those close to them. And it is as if everyone is a friend, almost in an attempt to make everyone deserving of equal love, and no one is getting more love or more attention than anyone else. This moon is a moon that loves freedom. Freedom to be. Freedom to go where they want to go. They don't want to feel owned, possessed, controlled by anyone, especially emotionally. Because Aquarius is fixed air, it's almost like going into space. Or to going into places like the poles, for example, where there's no wind. There is a kind of a cooling effect that happens, and space is the next frontier, even though there's no air in space. So emotions here are cooled down, and the mind is always pushing forward through the barriers of physics, trying to break the limitations of time and space into the future, into something more ahead, more progressive. They also tend to feel unique and different and express themselves in such a way as if they were too ahead of their time, or that they belong to another era or another planet, or born in a different timeline. Almost as if they could see the future potential of humanity, where we are all fraternal brothers and sisters living in harmony. But to achieve that freedom, it is paramount to find that equality of emotions and feelings is also important, as not to make anyone feel left out. So moon in Aquarius are usually described as being detached, visionaries, friendly, intelligent, genius, scientific, unconventional, unpredictable. Their way of emotional expression is more on the rational level. It's like the emotional side gets a bit more intellectualized. It has this larger perception of the whole or the big picture, or it goes through a filter where the more reactionary emotional tendencies that we can see in other moons, for example like Scorpio or like Cancer, they simply don't really compute or even make much sense, as if these emotions get cooled down by this fixed air modality, an element of this sign. They also tend to think futuristically, the next trend, the next upcoming wave. They try to be ahead of their time. They tend to like things that culturally many have not yet catched up on how trendy it will one day become when it finally becomes popularized. And when it does become popularized, Moon in Aquarius can simply lose interest for it. They are focused, disciplined, rational, inventors, reformers, revolutionaries, and yet they do like to keep some tradition going. They are contrarians, independent, eccentric, unpredictable. Second time I said unpredictable, and futuristic, also second time I said that. They will be great imperfections connected to science, humanitarian causes, technology, vanguard, and to be part of associations, to be part of communities, networking, connected to the public relations, to charities, or even to the internet online world, technology. The Moon in Aquarius superpower is not just one. And I decided to follow the Aquarian trend because Aquarius is unconventional, right? And likes groups. There is a group of superpowers then that Aquarius has, the Moon in Aquarius has. After all, you don't call them geniuses for nothing. One is the capacity for seeing everyone as equal in a fraternal way and keeping their emotions cooled down, which allows them to avoid the escalation of situations that can cause strong conflicts and even violence. However, as it happens, usually the superpower of a sign is also their detriment. They can, on the shadow side, be so unemotionally expressive sometimes that it can deter them from knowing how to respond in a more empathetic manner or adequate manner to other moons who might be going through some kind of more emotional situation or turmoil, or require a more emotional feeling response to feel understood, loved, taken care of, or appreciated. So the aquamoon detachment can also cause them to have people to leave them from a lack of appropriate feelings or emotional response. And they can entertain in their unconventionality dark thoughts, which combined with being emotionally not very engaged or a bit disconnected can be comparable to some expression of, even in some cases, of psychopathy, or even in some cases of a close malignant narcissistic behavior. The other superpower they have is their visionary capacity to see the future of humanity, where it can become its best, great, united. And the other superpowers they have also is their unconventionality, genius, original way of thinking that can bring innovations, inventions, and completely transform the world. They can forge new ways of doing things and reform the community, reform the society, reform things around them, and to change the future. And many geniuses that existed and completely changed the world were actually Aquarius moon, sun, or ascendants. An interesting thing about the contradiction of this moon is that they are seemingly independent and detached, right? They look different from everyone else, and they sometimes try to be very unique and can even sometimes appear to be a little bit snobbish about the mass production of popular culture, as if where the masses follow, they tend to not feel like that's the way they want to go. This is a moon that also doesn't want to be alone actually, and strongly appreciates to belong to a community, to a group of some kind, to have as many friendships as they can collect, even if things never go too deep. But they do appreciate relationships and connections. They do like to build and create networks and to create people connecting to one another, among each other. And this is really important for their mental and emotional balance. They are not necessarily the lone wolf, but the lone wolf that seeks to create their own pack of lone wolves community that is going to change things around. They do like company, but the company tends to be the one they create according to their ideal. And they want to be different, yet accepted and understood for being different from others, but not fully understood as in that someone having a capacity to control them, to be able to predict their next moves or next actions in order to kind of engulf them or kind of imprison them. Therefore, that's why they tend to have this erratic behavior in search for this freedom. Is the way that this moon tends to maintain a sense of power in what seems a very equal, we are all the same social kind of frame. Another point is that many moons might think there is something very wrong with the moon in Aquarius being so detached, and that is because they don't operate in the same way. The thing is, all other moons can certainly learn some detachment from this moon, and that can actually save them a lot of time, heartbreak, sadness, and useless drama if they were able to let go of what doesn't serve them anymore. From people to things, or even if they would allow everyone to take a break or breathe for a while without being the end of the world. The key really here is to find that balance and equilibrium, because we need all the signs and all of them contribute some aspect to our human psyche. On the shadow side, this moon, and I already described a little bit of the shadow side, but also as well the sun and the ascendant, can be overly detached, unemotionally expressive, overly skeptical, rebellious without a cause, disruptive, attention-seeking, and yes, I did say attention-seeking, by them being so seemingly different from everyone else. They actually can be looking to become the center of attention. They can be cold, heartless, as in a cold, heartless scientist who forgets that we are also a soul and a spirit, and focus only on science progress at any cost. They can over-rationalize and over-intellectualize everything. They can also be stubborn on their way of seeing reality, of seeing the world, and to shut down to other people's perspectives, becoming very arrogant of their own perception as if no one else can see or perceive more than them. They can be a little bit know-it-alls, even though this is more of a shadow side of Sagittarius, but they also can be that. Arrogant on their intelligence and agent provocateurs, acting a bit like the devil's advocate just because they have to be the one who is different. Also, another intriguing thing of this moon is that they try to be different, to be somewhat accepted by others. That in their trying to get away by being different from other people, they get to really find out how much they really wanted, how much they really desired. They get to test the feelings and the emotional feelings of other people or another person has for them. There's a side to them that wants to feel wanted and feels somewhat powerful by being sought after. And so by being different and detached, they get to have some kind of proof, so to speak, that they are really loved and accepted by others as others seek for them. It's also a way of power in a way. It's kind of a power play here. Their detachment allows them a form of control on the reverse. The opposite of the Scorpio moon, for example. I did a video on Scorpio moon, very interesting if you want to see. As if people come looking for them. Yes, it's a very interesting game, and it's almost as if being needy for someone was for the moon in Aquarius a form of weakness, a form of vulnerability that imprisons people and allows them to be under the power of, or under the control of others that they depend on. So eliminating that weakness makes the moon in Aquarius the stronger ones. No one can control this moon because they are always ready to leave when needed, always ready to go. Yet making others go looking for them because of their absence gives them a certain form of validation and control, because others are the weak ones in need, not them. Does it make a bit of sense? So in relationships, this moon being very detached, the best way to go about it for them is through the means of friendship. Type of relationship that makes everyone equal and does not allow for the use of possession pronouns, for example, like mine, my this, my that, as if to show that they belong to someone or someone belongs to them. And now, having said that, let us not forget the contrarian nature of Aquarius, because they do want to belong. However, for them, the monogamous relationship or their polyamory relationships will have to be somewhat unconventional. And when everyone would have let go of the possessive pronouns, that will be the time when the moon in Aquarius will decide to actually start reusing them again and bring them back to tradition, get everyone back to tradition. They have a unique way of doing things, and if they do that, they will do so with a twist. You have to love this moon, because if you love to play catching up, well, good luck. One of my favorite philosophers is an Aquarian sun female called Lou Andrea Salome. She is the perfect example of what I'm trying to demonstrate. Not only was she a very unconventional, independent, rule-breaking woman in her time, the late 19th century and early 20th century, she was stealing the hearts of philosophers and poets like Maria Rilke, the psychologist Freud, and Friedrich Nietzsche himself, who rumors have tried to kill himself over his love for her. Yet she was asked in marriage many times by many men, and even the ones she was a lover to. She ended up marrying a guy she was not necessarily even interested in or in love with, while maintaining lovers that she actually had some interest for or attraction to on the side. And her reasons for doing so still remain a bit of a mystery, though there is this connection to remain emotionally free and not enslaved to a man she loves or bounded by emotion. And by the way, fitting in with society was something that Luz Andreas didn't really care that much about. So I gave you an image just to show that an Aquarius moon, sun, or ascendant can get married, but the motivations and reasons behind it may not be the conventional ones that are the same for everyone else. They can actually be quite affectionate, sweet, loving, and even seductive. But their seductive is appealing to the unconventional in others. Lou Andrea Salome, that I just mentioned, was a bit of a tomboy, a dandy. She behaved in a manner that was not the most feminine for the times and liked to hang out with the boys, I mean men. Behave sometimes like them and talk like them and talk to them as equals, many times in bold, challenging ways. With her sharp intellect, made them fall completely in head over heels with her charm. So if you want to spark the interest of this moon, then you already have a lot of the guidance that you need. Only that you want to stand out from the crowd or the public somehow. Show some originality, being very different, self-expressive, self-confident, creative, and fearless about who you are. In a very intelligent way, when the moon in Aquarius tries to poke you to see if you are one of those too concerned about what other people think or say about you, or tests you with some intellectual wittiness, if you can hold your own in a confident, unaffected, centered manner, and show how you don't care much about what they, the Aquarius moon, think about you, that will surely add some points to your cause. You see, this moon might not always seem openly interested in you, and yet be very interested in you. They might act in super detached ways to see if you try to imprison them, capture them. But when you don't, they actually might come looking for you. At the same time, they might disappear just after a while for a few days, weeks, months, or a good time together to see if you're too attached to them, or even they are attached to you. But when you don't make much of a case about it, they will rationalize their own attachment to you and find a reason to come and hang out. As friends, of course. Remember, I said they were very unpredictable, so you will never quite know what to expect, and you have to be able to kind of read through them and be willing to also walk away and not to take things too personally. In some way, they will be the ones defining the relationship you both have. Even if you think you are in one relationship with them, you really aren't until they tell you that you are and define exactly how that relationship is. If they have any water or earth influence in their chart or their personal planets, then that can help a lot in terms of relationships, but still is not a guarantee. So bottom line, yes, the Aquarius moon can somewhat get attached emotionally, but they will avoid it because such basic emotions are not worthy of their super intelligence and capacity to be free. Yet you have to know how to maneuver in their territory, because they can indeed let go easily even when it hurts them. And they will make that choice over succumbing their freedom to feel attached to anyone. I did say they were unconventional and contrarian. And so if you are an Aqua Moon and you want to be at your emotional best, some of the things you can do are to become part of communities, to have networks of people that you feel like you belong to have your own pack of friends who somewhat get who you are, why you are, the way you are, and are as cool as you. You will probably be moving from group to group, trying to meet new people, make new friends, and inspiring everyone with your progressive ideals and vision for the future and super intelligence and genius, and seeking to inspire everyone to love one another in a fraternal, peaceful, and humanitarian way. But that is indeed where you excel. So if you like it, that can help. Not that you, detached, lovely moon in Aquarius, need much help. I don't even need to give you any advice. You know exactly what you need to do. But hey, I did it for the other moon signs, so I need to be equal to everyone, right? So go ahead, be the weirdo that you are and give yourself the opportunities to be inventive, original, dive into the scientific world, progressive philosophies, ideals, thoughts. Find other like-minded people who understand you, who are fascinated by what you have to say, what you have to share, and keep changing the world around you with your vision, your scientific discoveries, and humanitarian associations, humanitarian values, and messages of fraternity, brotherhood, and sisterhood that will make this world a much better place. Also, of course, we can't forget that you need to be on the vanguard of the next wave, of the next cultural revelation. Your tastes are as unique, and so make sure you take a dose of your music, literature, your innovative arts, wherever you can. Also, with people who tend to be too much in their heads, Aquarius moons, I mean, and less emotion, have less emotion and be less emotional, I'll recommend to do some physical practices that can connect them to their body and their senses, because this is ideal to go into your body. And I'll let you choose if that is through sports, dance, massage, soft martial arts, or another type of thing that you do. But I strongly recommend that you get to do something that connects you to your body. Because if you have a lot of air and fire in your chart along with this moon, then you will really need to be more grounded. Some kind of arts expressions or hobbies are also ideal. As a detached moon, as you may seem, the real truth is you love to be with others and in good company. And you need people who accept you and make you feel loved for who you are. That is important for your emotional balance. So make sure you find your pack and don't entertain any secret, dark, self-harming thoughts that may come across your mind occasionally, and your eccentric genius brilliant mind, because yes, emos are also a shadow side of the moon in Aquarius. So just go and change the world for the better. You know how. And that's all I have to say for the wonderful moon in Aquarius. I hope you have enjoyed this video and learned much from it, and if so, please make sure to tell me in the comments below. Also to like and subscribe this video and share with other people so you can help me make more videos by hitting those algorithms up. And please visit me in my website at cynthiasincere.com, where you can check for the readings that I offer and consultations that I offer. And I hope to see you next time. May the cosmos and the stars be with you.